After all that's just happened, life, every flawed morsel of it, seems more precious to you than ever. You look around at those who have accompanied you so far. In each one, something unique shines through. Divinity has eluded you so far, but humanity beats strong within you, here and now. Who knows what lies ahead for you, for your companions? Your quest failed. The void is growing stronger, and the hall is dark. You feel the need for some affection. Perhaps they feel it too. She pulls you close and kisses you like you've never been kissed before.
That's a yes. Come, let's find ourselves a quiet spot, shall we?
As you move to go below decks, the live wood creaks and groans. The steps you thought you knew lead you to a part of the ship you've never seen before. A newly carved nook that smells of resin and wood chips. Touching the wall beneath your fingers, the live wood hums at your touch. You understand that the Lady Vengeance has carved this space for you in gratitude for your help. You enter and feel the presence of the ship recede, offering you the total privacy of a moment alone with your companion. The first moment you have been truly alone together. No sooner have you entered the room than Sabine shoves you onto the bed and starts tearing at your clothes.
I want you naked, now.
She looks on as you remove your garb, and it's like you can feel her gaze, an eager flame that travels up and down your naked body.
Good boy.
She takes one of your hands and leads it to her lips, gently brushing them with your fingertips.
Remember how when we first met I licked your arm? Think now of what will happen when I lick you all over. All those memories shrouded in flesh. No more secrets. I will know you like I know my own heart.
She lowers your hand and places it between her breasts. You can feel the beat of her heart, the dulcet, ancient rhythm.
Let me come to know you.
She kisses you gently. Then, as your mouths open, a dalliance of tongues.
The sweet taste of remembrance. The titillation that is one's first kiss. How young you were. Tell me, how was it? So I gather. But practice makes perfect, as we've just proven. I think it's time for another taste.
She kisses your neck, your chest, twirls her tongue around your nipples.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Another sensation altogether. But you're afraid. Tell me why. Except me, and my nails, and my needle. Forget the scar. Forget the names on my skin. And forget the instrument with which I kill. You will get to know the real me. All of me. I am Sabine, and I'm here with you. That's right, my darling. I'm here with you. Now do you realize you've no reason to fear me? That I could never hurt you? I love you. I want you.
Her kisses go lower still, your belly and below. Her tongue is all along your length. Just a tease. Slowly she moves back up, her body close to you, her lips against your ear.
Just one question left. The one question as yet unanswered in your flesh. Do you love me too? And I will have to take your word for it, won't I?
With a few easy movements, Sabine slips out of her clothes and straddles you in all her naked glory, two heats hot against one another.
Oh, isn't it wonderful to be in love? Isn't it magical to make love?
Her lips land on yours once more as she guides you inside her, and slowly, ever so slowly, gallops you into oblivion. The night was long, but you didn't sleep a wink. You lie in one another's arms, basking in euphoric exhaustion.
Ready for round 5? Come here.
As Sabile's hands traipse their way down, a sound emanates in the distance.
That was Lady Vengeance. She's calling us back. How she spoils our sport.
You both rise from the bed and get dressed. When you're ready to leave, Sabile takes your hands in hers.
You know me now, don't you? The real me. You're not afraid anymore, are you? And I love you.
One more kiss. Then you leave, your arms around each other's waist.
Let's get this divinity thing over with, shall we? This is so much more fun.
Bifan's spirit stares at you, seemingly through you. There is neither affection nor blame in his expression. He gives no sign of seeing you. Bifan's eyes flicker rapidly from side to side, as if trying to take in an expansive sight. He whispers, "Gleku Duma, Gleku Duma," over and over, and suddenly you seem to hear the chattering of thousands of elven voices in the distance. Then, before your eyes, his spirit dissolves into the sound, his own voice joining the cacophony that you can hear. That you could hear, for now no sound remains. All is calm.
Not right now. Come back later.
Are you ready to continue the journey? One word and the Lady Vengeance will take us back to our world.
Hey up. I hear we're about ready to move out. Reckon you'll need to talk with the ship head to summon Malady and let her know we're ready.
There you are. I hear Malady wants to continue the journey. We've but to talk to the Lady Vengeance and off we pop.
Thane is busy scribbling in his ephemeral notebook.
Take whatever time you need to gather yourself, my friend. When you are ready, we can proceed. It shall be done.
Malady's face is drawn. She seems tired, somewhat subdued. She looks you over and squints.
What's wrong with you? You seem happy. Well. And does the object of your affection feel the same about you?
A smirk curls across her face.
Good for you, darling. We could all use a little good news about now, couldn't we? What comes next will be... well, it'll be up to you how it will be. I've had some time to think, and there's a few matters I want to discuss before we carry on. I doubt you've forgotten the death of Meister Siva.
She swallows hard and closes her eyes for a moment, as though trying to dispel a dizzy spell.
She and I had a deal, you see. A deal that's now quite obviously defunct. According to its terms, I was to help you ascend to divinity, and she was to help me with another matter. The details aren't important now, it's just... never mind. Another entangling alliance. But I won't be able to disentangle it on my own. There may come a time when I need to count on you as an ally. So, are we? Allies, that is. I'm glad to hear you say that. We do make quite the team, don't we? I found out where Dallies is heading. There's a great city not far from Driftwood, Arx by name. It's controlled by Magisters, so you'll have your work cut out for you. We have to find out what she's planning to do with the powers of the Seven. You'll need to find her and take back what she stole, and quickly, before she does something irreversible. Dallies, or any of the others for that matter, cannot be allowed to use the powers of the gods. She doesn't understand what must be done. She doesn't understand how to rule. It's quite simple, really. Chaos is a fact of life, surer than any other. Power is one of the few structures that can cut a line through that chaos. If wielded well, that line will mean stability, order, a comfort against the unknowable, changing forces of chaos. If wielded poorly, the line will mean domination, terror, different from chaos, but no better. Dallas, and the others like her, Alexander, the Mother Tree, the Prince of Shadows, they are little better than demons, really. They seek power at the expense of others, not to create stability, but to create servants. Look at my face, Godwoken. What do you see? I suppose we all see what we want to see. When I look in the mirror, I see balance. Balance between darkness and light, between good and evil. Whatever those categories mean. When the time comes for you to ascend, remember my face. Remember that despite any shortcomings you might have, if you can bring a semblance of balance to the world, you'll have done as good as the Seven did. And if you can be stronger than them, you'll do all the better. The Seven are gone, slain by their Godwoken, slain by you. You have the potential, the obligation even, to do better than they did, to create a better world than the world they made. I know what evil is, Godwoken. I've seen what chaos can do. It isn't how I picture Rivellon's future. You are my insurance against that. Now, there's little time to spare. We need to get you to Arx, find Dallas, take back what she stole. Shall we go? Very good. How lucky for you I'm on your side. I'm probably the only one masterful enough to transport an entire ship safely between the land of the dead and the land of the living. Captain Malady stands at the ready.
After the briefest moment of respite, Malady brought the Godwoken to Arx to recover the divine powers Dallas had snatched away. But the half-demon's secret was taking its toll on her.
Lucian! Fools! The bastard's going to ruin everything! Brace! Brace! Brace!
Don't say anything.
Malady groans, her face twisting in pain. She falls to one knee, catching herself on her hands. She raises one hand and raises herself to her feet.
Now, no need to fuss, I'll be fine. It's just that traveling between the realms isn't easy, you know? It takes something from my soul each time. But never you fear, I've pulled a clever trick out of my sleeve. The Lady Vengeance stands in two realms at once. Her body here, her soul in the Hall of Echoes. You can still return at your leisure. At least I got us where we wanted to go. This is Arx. This is where Dallas has fled with the powers of the gods. This is where the path to divinity leads. Your guess is as good as mine for once. If it were me, I'd start with the Divine Order in the city. Last I heard, there were plenty of Magister within the city walls. If their beloved leader is among them, they'll likely have heard about it. Dallas must be stopped. She has stolen the powers of the Seven. You'll need to get the Aetherin back if you're to fight the God King. You'll need it if you're to ascend. Track her in Arx. Find out where she's gone and end her. Take back the Aetherin and the powers of the gods with it. You cannot fail, Godwoken. Not for anything.
The spirit of a dwarf cowers behind some rubble. One of her legs is suddenly yanked backwards, and she's hauled upwards into the air. The spirit utters one last scream, then vanishes in mid-air.
Please, speak. By all means. Oh my. Someone in need of a lick and cuddle.
Her face is straight, but her eyes dance with mirth.
I don't think I can ever tire of hearing that.
She steps close to you and places a long hand on your cheek. Her great cat-like eyes peer into yours. She kisses you, biting your lower lip as she pulls away.
Don't think you've seen it all. I haven't even nibbled you yet. Like I want to keep exploring. Again, and again, and again. How about you?
She curtsies.
And my privilege. To be perfectly frank, yes. I only have to do what comes natural to me. Besides, these 7 weren't exactly angels. Even gods get their comeuppance. We stand warned, don't we? Last I heard, godhood awaits. If only we can wrest it from Dallies. First, we find her. Then, we roll for the greatest fate of them all.
The spirit of a magister mimes something, unaware of his own demise. He seems to be securing a ship's gangway onto the side of the dock. You snap to attention as she descends from the Lord Dread, Dallies herself. If only your parents were still alive to see this, they'd be so proud. A flicker of movement catches your eye. Something alongside the ship, beside the water's surface, a writhing mass of huge tentacles. You reach for your weapon. The spirit gasps and turns, dissolving into nothingness, just as his eyes lock onto you. The spirit of a paladin lurks near some cargo at the edge of the dock. You do your best to remain inconspicuous, observing the scene from behind some barrels and crates stacked near the water's edge. The Lord Dread looms ahead of you. Dallies herself descends the gangway, Freedman following at a distance. You need to report this to Lord Ken. The traitors are here. It's only when you try to sneak away that you realize something has curled itself around your ankle. A powerful tentacle. It pulls you towards the water. The spirit of a magister lies on the ground, struggling to draw breath. Ghostly silver blood pours from a stab wound in his chest. You keep your hand pressed over the wound in a vain attempt to staunch the bleeding. How did this happen? How did that Freedman creature manage to get the drop on you? You feel a chill spread throughout your body. Everything grows dark. You should warn someone. That Freedman's domination leash isn't working, that he's dangerous. But it's too late. The darkness has seized hold of you, and it isn't letting go.
With you. Yield to none!
the Reaper for me.
As Voidwoken attacks go, you think that one was particularly devastating. The great city of Arx may be finally ready to fall.
Arx fall over my dead body.
This city won't go down without a fight from me.
Arx fall, not on my watch.
You! I read about someone matching your description in the latest dispatch. And now there'll be another tale about you for our war owls to whistle across the four corners of Rivellon.
Pursing her bruised lips, Captain Oral glares up at the carrion birds circling the bloodied remains of her men that litter the entrance to Arx.
You took care of business too late for my crew, though. All my best paladins are dead, whether by the hands of the Magisters or the claws of the Voidwoken.
The captain sobers and curls her lip at the Voidwoken corpses nearby. She spits a bloody tooth in the direction of the closest one.
Of course, word travels, especially when you have a network of highly trained war owls. There's been a steady stream of reports flying in about a sorcerer matching your description, getting into all kinds of trouble. Let me say, I hope you're not bringing it here with you.
She eyes you curiously.
You won't find the leader of the Magisters walking in the open in Arx, not after what they've done. This is Paladin territory now. But check in with Lord Kem. He's conducting an investigation of all the Magisters in the barracks. He might know something about her whereabouts. Well, you've heard that the Magisters were colluding with the Black Ring, right? After the Voidwoken first attacked our city, Lord Kem investigated and put two and two together. It all makes sense now. To think they blamed all sorcerers. The only question remaining is why? Why? The Magisters have a lot to answer for. Those left alive, that is. Obviously. Take care. I doubt this is quite the city you were expecting to find.
The faint spirit's voice is little more than a whisper, echoing inside your mind.
No. Treacherous paladins. There can be no divinity in an order that betrays its own.
The spirit suddenly looks up at you, eyes wide and accusing.
Treachery!
The spirit laughs. A terrible, cynical guffaw.
Welcome to Arx. Welcome to Arx. You've picked a fine day for it. On Lucian's day, You'd better believe it. City's a bit of a mess, it's fair to say, but the worst has passed. We'll have the place cleaned up in no time. We're managing well enough. You just stay out of trouble, and your stay in Arx shall, I'm sure, be peaceful and pleasant. Seems the Magisters have been dicing with dark magic. You'd have them to thank if there were any left. Many fled. Those who didn't died or ended up in a cell.
She looks at you derisively and spits on the ground, close enough to your boot to make her point.
If she is, Lord Kem will want to know. Kem commands the city now. Stay safe. Welcome to Arx.
The paladin wistfully hums a tune. You recognize the air. Smoke gets in your hair. As he hums, the words come back to you. There's no smoke without fire, dark the air. Nothing burns in rainfall, and smoke gets in your hair. He rolls his eyes and turns back to the flames.
That was Rosewood's favorite song, and Rosewood's dead. You didn't know Rosewood. Leave his favorite song alone. Rosewood's dead, and these are the monsters that did it. Don't be sorry on my behalf. Be sorry for Rosewood and his wife. He was a good man, and she'll feel his loss. It'll haunt her for the rest of her days. We'll mourn him as we mourn all our own.
The past is burned well, I'll say.
A young man works at a canvas, mounted on an easel. Smears of what must be red paint are evident on his hands and clothing. He's oblivious, in a daze as he paints.
I didn't just see it, I witnessed it. Now I must preserve it upon canvas for the generations to come.
He nods, a faraway expression on his face.
The great schism of the Divine Order and the ruination of Arx. This will be my masterpiece. I usually only display completed works, but, well, this painting's raw power is already plain to see. Here, feast your eyes.
He gestures to the canvas. It's completely covered in the same shade of red, layer after layer. It's sodden, dripping onto the cobbles. He cracks a limp smile. He seems to be getting paler by the minute.
True art requires sacrifice. Artists must put themselves onto the canvas.
He tugs back the sleeve of his tunic to reveal a blood-soaked cloth bandage around his wrist.
It was my father's technique. He was the finest painter of his generation, and he used his own blood for his masterwork. The final panel of The Sacrifice of Lucian. He was also quite the sorcerer. Magic-infused blood can be used to produce the most vivid effects, if you're skilled enough. For the most part, a copy can be seen at the Great Cathedral here in Arx. I visit frequently for inspiration. But the original panel, the one that my father used his blood to depict Lucian's final sacrifice, was given to Lord Kem a long time ago. He keeps it locked away somewhere in that mansion of his. A masterpiece like that should be on public display for all to see. Self-preservation is a petty concern. I must put the spiritual above the corporeal. I must finish.
The bastard burned well, I'll say that.
The spirit of an older man observes the nearby painter. He tut-tuts to himself.
That poor boy is wasting his time, walking upon well-trodden paths. I thought I raised him better than that. Did you tell him what you thought of his little picture? Unfortunate, isn't it? He isn't without talent, but he never overcame the fact that he was my son. Of course, my finest work. I drew upon everything I had for that piece, all of my skills, my experience. Why, there's even my own blood and sauce on that canvas. They are part of a private collection now, Lord Kem's. Perhaps he'll grant you a viewing, but I doubt it. There's a reproduction on display at the cathedral. Not the same as viewing the original, of course, but it gives the great unwashed something to pray before. Of course I am. I painted the greatest works of art that Arx has ever seen. The Sacrifice of Lucian. My opinion is the only one that matters.
The spirit burns with rage at the carnage wrought on Arx. Rage for the Voidwoken, rage for the Magisters, and rage too for himself and his fellow paladins for failing to see the danger until it was too late.
If we're not careful, we'll burn the world.
You'll find no mercy.
Mercy? Please, you've got to help me. My wife, they want to kill her. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just trying to save lives, but no one will listen. You have to help, please. Of being a good person. Please, there's no time. They'll kill her. Go!
In Lucian's holy name, we gather here today to see justice done.
The paladin looks up at you through a bruised and swollen eye. She spits a gob of blood on the cobbles before she speaks.
Come to see the show, stranger. I'm afraid you've missed most of the slaughter, but there's still blood to be spilled.
Step back from the prisoner. You are interrupting a paladin court, stranger.
You couldn't call this a court until the end of days, Kem. It's still a disgrace.
The prisoner will be silent. We are beyond accusations. This once paladin is guilty of refusing orders and protecting supporters of the Black Ring.
They were boys. Local boys that signed up for steady pay in a slick uniform. A couple of white traitors doesn't mean every Magister is in league with the Ring.
At best, you are a coward. At worst, you are a traitor. In either case, the sentence is death.
His icy eyes focus on you for the first time, pinning you with a freezing look.
Step aside, stranger. She has been tried by her service and found guilty by her failings. She disobeyed orders and cost paladins their lives. Perhaps there is some truth in that. Very well. She will not die today.
The paladin looks at you as Kem turns away and silently mouths thank you.
I will tell for her. And the rest of you have your duties. Move.
Oh, by the Divine, thank you. I'll never forget this kindness.
If there's anything important here, a white man will surely take it.
What is this? Am I dreaming? I went to my bunk after patrol duties, and now this? I'll wake up in a minute. Winslow's snoring always wakes me. This can't be real. What? I don't know anything about the Black Ring. I must be dreaming. I have to be. No, it isn't real. It isn't real. It's just a nightmare. Just a night. Yeah!
The spirit of a Magister lingers nearby, scowling at the damage that's been dealt to the premises.
Look at this. Just look at this. Our barracks ransacked by our own brothers-in-arms and my sworn Magister comrades murdered by them. I got Brant out of here. He was wounded. He wouldn't have stood a chance if I hadn't helped. Hopefully some more made it as well. I came back here to see if I could help any others, but I got a saber through the heart instead. Murdering blue bloods. The Void's welcome to the lot of them.
The spirit leans back to appraise you, a guarded look on his spectral features.
You're no paladin, but why should I tell you?
Nothing. Just more magical rubbish.
Fine, just check in on him for me, will you? There's a spot around the back, at the bottom of an embankment, where a culvert drains into the river. I lowered him down there where the paladins likely wouldn't see him. He was bleeding like a stuck pig, though. I don't know if he made it.
What's this? I found something.
Well, if it isn't my better side. I hope we made the right decision. In the long run, mercy can be very costly. It may have escaped your notice, but we've just taken over an entire Magister barracks, and the whole place has to be searched. Well, what is it? The Whites have betrayed the memory of Lucian in the most heinous manner. We'd had our suspicions, but when Lord Ahu proved their collusion with the Black Ring, it was time to act. We put a stop to their treason. The Order must persist. The Order must endure. The Magisters can no longer have power. Stay out of Paladin business. We have found little of use, at least not yet. Perhaps you may have better luck. If the Whites were working with the Black Ring, and I believe they were not doing it here. The barracks are clean as far as we can tell. But White Magister Raymond was here with his people, and of them there is no sign. But they must have left a trail. We will find them, wherever they are. The Lord Dread is in the harbor. Of Dallas there's nary a trace. But rest assured, if she is here, we shall find her. And should you hear anything, please do let us know. If the conspiracy with the Black Ring extends as high as the Hammer herself, she shall pay the price. I promise you that. She disobeyed orders. She knew the consequences. I expect she shall receive justice. Goodbye. Those bloody Whites couldn't stand out more if they tried, but where are they?
He sneers at you. His spectral form bears impressions of severe burn injuries. The spirit's smug demeanor gives way to an angry scowl. The spirit of a half-dressed magister stands before you, fumbling to draw his phantom blade from its sheath. The spirit manages to draw his sword and utter a challenge, though not one aimed at you. He starts to swipe and jab his sword at an unseen opponent.
If I was one of those whites, where'd I hide something?
Nothing. Just more Magister
If I
rubbish.
was one of those whites.
The spirit of a magister jabs a spectral finger into the paladin's wound, while muttering some profane-sounding curse.
I'll do as I please. This paladin filth hacked me down right here in our headquarters. She's going to suffer for what she did to me.
The spirit thinks for a moment, then moves back from the paladin.
Very well. I am done with this world.
Come on. Damn you. Stop bleeding.
The paladin presses a wad of fresh bandages upon a steadily bleeding leg wound. For a moment, it seems to work, but then the bleeding suddenly gets worse.
Damn it.
The paladin looks up from her wound to give you a look of disdain.
Have you lost your wits? This is a spear wound, plain and simple. Have you taken leave of your senses? You didn't help me.
This way's off limits.
Stay back. It's for your own good.
Found the undead freak here already chained up by the Magisters. They say she's a witch. I say
Her voice freezes into a harsh whisper.
she's a demon. Damn right. Lucian spoke of creatures like this Windigo. They spread their black magic to our children with songs and stories. Makes me sick. Our little ones, tools of demons. You know this trickster? Well, go on then. Probably doesn't matter who breaks her, so long as she gets broken. Just keep your head on straight. She'll try to make nice. Creep into your thoughts. Keep her out of there, all right?
What do you suppose the Magisters are doing with her?
What's this? Who are you? Give me room! I feel a breakthrough approaching.
She cradles her head in her hands, then pivots towards the prisoner. Her mouth opens, yet nothing spills forth. No sermon, no screed, no threat. She turns back to you and grimaces.
Too late! The spark's been snuffed. I trust you come bearing gold or godhood for me, to have interrupted such a sensitive interrogation. What led to this freak's imprisonment is a mystery as unsolved as the void itself. We found her already caged, cursing the Magisters with hexes vulgar enough to turn even a dwarf's cheeks red. The evil is strong in her. Her words are soaked in it. They squirm into your mind, planting warm memories you've never had, mesmerizing you with candy-sweet sights and scents.
Visions of Wendigo's attack on the vessel sailing to Fort Joy fill your head. You look to the sound, and your memories contort and coil. Wendigo cradles you in her arms, stroking your head as the waves crash around you. I'm sorry, Buttercup. I was bewitched by his promise. Forgive me. You shake your head and the vision is gone. Your eyes rest not on the prisoner, but on the paladin. The paladin sighs, in, then out. Her jaw relaxes, her hands unclench.
A sorcerer? You penetrate my thoughts as she does, yet you leave behind clarity. Not fantasy. I understand now. You are as dangerous to her as she to us. I will give you the space you need, then. May Lucian be your guide. Things are under control. For now.
You reach your hand towards the device, and your inner source is stifled, as if you'd never rid yourself of that cursed collar. After a bit of tinkering, the machine whines pitifully, and the shield surrounding the cell flickers off.
Come to me, sweets.
She steps forward, slowly but confidently. She holds out her hands, bony palms up. They emit no fire, no ice, no curse.
The God King no longer grants me his favor. Mask ripped from me and flesh flayed to bone, because the Godwoken still walks Rivellon. Now he's chosen another. I should hate you for what you've done to me, hate you for the hell I've lived. But I hate him so much more. He loved me when I was useful. He cast me out when you failed to die. Go to the new Chosen. See that he suffers. See that the God King suffers. In your name and in mine.
This creature, this monster, would have seen us drowned at sea. Kill her.
If the God King has truly abandoned her, then this is our chance to slay her, once and for all.
Wendigo has done nothing before to earn my trust. This changes nothing.
And so it is. I will break the contract, Godwoken. If not with your help, then in spite of it.
Windigo's spirit quakes. She is no longer the arrogant banshee that summoned a kraken and brought down a Magister vessel, but a fearful child bracing for parental punishment.
He's close, so close. Can't you feel him, Godwoken? The king approaches.
A moment of silence passes, and then Windigo's scream splits the air.
He's tearing away my soul, Godwoken. Cast me to the void if you must, but do not let him take me.
Windigo's spirit flutters and writhes. Your skull squeezes tight, and your throat burns with fire, but the substance of her being is nearly yours. Your head shrieks, as if split in two by the God King's umbrage, but you have overcome. Windigo's source funnels into you in steady gushes as you sling her spirit into the void. The Magister spirit looks up at you from a tortured face. His eyes are filled with pain and terror, and his hands grasp tight to each other, clenching and clenching harder and harder.
In this dingy hole, to end my days, here, where I once toiled, but oh how I prayed for an end, at the end. And I'm still praying. For the glory of Lucian, there is no task unworthy. Here we turned up abominations into servants of the Lord. And the more powerful the sorcerer, the better the geist they make. All the better to serve him. For him we pray always. Lucian, Lucian, I am your loyal servant. Why have you forsaken me?
Let me out! Piss off, paladin scum. I'm telling you nothing. My brother Delorus will hear about this, and then there'll be trouble. Delorus looks after his own. You know nothing. Piss off. Come on, let me out.
Besides, they weren't.
I'm glad this one was let off the hook. I'd rather guard a body than bury a corpse any day.
Selby may be wearing our colours, but she's not one of us anymore. She'll rot in here.
Let me out! Let me out of here!
Well, hello again. Welcome to my very, very humble abode. Yes, I heard it too. The man has some curious ideas about what constitutes treason. I refuse to raise a hand against fellow members of the Divine Order. Refuse to buy into Kem's lie that they're all Black Ring puppets. It's not just the city. The Divine Order is coming undone at the seams. There's never been much love lost between the Paladins and the Magisters, but this... brawling in the streets... it will be the end of us all. Too many Paladins from noble families, and too many Magisters that started as working folk. Of course, the Paladins were the first recruits of Lucian. So, many saw the Magisters rising through the ranks as a threat to their order. Pig farmers leading lords, they said. But now that some white Magisters have been found colluding with the Black Ring, now that Kem has his excuse, it's war. Kem's always been a hard man. His steel was forged in the war with the Black Ring. But recently there's something else. He's turned cold. Not cruel, exactly, just harsh. Dispassionate to a fault. They say it's the Voidwoken, that he's too worried about Rivellon to worry about people. Maybe that's it. Or maybe years of fighting finally broke him. Your guess is as good as mine. Although, I've heard whispers. There are places in Kem's mansion that nobody goes but him. One has to wonder what he gets up to. I'll see you again, I hope. The company in here lacks a certain charm.